First off, I'm still in awe of this deer. Still can't believe it. Killing a 200-inch deer never crossed my mind. Hell, I was just blessed to be able to take 130s and 140s, much less 200s. I wish I could say I had history with this deer, but this was a property I picked up late spring. It's not a large piece of ground, but where it was, I figured it had potential to hold a good deer. I think it was early June when I finally had a chance to load up a feeder and some corn in my Tacticam and head out to the property. It's about an hour drive for me, so I knew I had to get plenty of corn and a cell camera on it because I knew it would probably be a couple of weeks in between my visits out there. It was probably a week and a half before I got my first pictures of him, and I seen his G2s were starting to split, and I knew he was going to be a pretty special deer. The rest of the summer was somewhat of an emotional roller coaster. I don't think I've ever had feelings quite like this over a deer. The lows of him disappearing for a few days to the highs of him showing back up were a real strain on my sanity, especially as season got closer. Opening day wasn't the best weather, but the wind was good, so I wasn't going to miss it, especially with him still showing on a regular. The two bucks he traveled with showed up first and went straight to the feeder. It was about 5 minutes later he popped out, but he was about 60 yards away in a clearing, just kind of browsing and hanging out. A couple does came in and they kind of stirred up a little commotion at the feeder, which made me a little nervous, but eventually it calmed down. After about 20-30 minutes or so, he started working his way over. It was starting to lose daylight, but I could still see pretty good. He finally made it in to about 25-26 yards and he stopped, kind of just still messing, looking around. I decided I couldn't take no more. I was able to draw, so I did, and I took the shot. It went a little high, and I did panic there for a second, but I watched him go back out through the clearing, and I heard what I thought was some thrashing. So I got down, I found my arrow, made me feel a little bit better, had good blood on it, but I still walked on back to the truck and waited about an hour, probably the longest hour of my life. It done got dark, so I drove on back down where my feeder was and picked up the blood and started tracking. Blood was a little thin at first, but it was easy to follow. Went about 120 yards, and there he lay. I'll never forget that feeling, man. My only regret is I was an hour from home and had no one to share it with. But more importantly, I had no one to help me load him. He was a chunk, man. A deer I'll never forget. Probably the best deer I'll ever kill. Kind of special.